So I've not done this yet, but I just thought we'd have like a nice little chat about positive stuff.
Right.
The last video I saw of you on LinkedIn was when you were down in Manchester doing your digital city chat. And obviously the market was quite different then, and it was all really positive from Capita's perspective. And I think, that we will get out the other side of this, won't we? And there will be needs from a new phase of digital, I'd imagine, is going to change how we look at. And a lot of the technology we knew was there will start to get used. But I just wanted to know from your perspective, what Capita are doing now and what you think the future will look like.
Yeah, so I think we will get through the other side. I think we just got to look at the countries who are through the other side. We just talked about Vietnam and South Korea and even China coming out the other side. But it will be very different, won't it? I mean, I think talking about AC and BC now being before Corona and after Corona. I think it will be a milestone moment. It was a milestone moment for me because we had this group of 7 of us who went to school together, so we're all in our 50s. And this weekend, we all had our first video conference rather than get together for like we usually do at the weekend when we're all in the same place.
Yeah.
And we all said, this is freaking weird. And it is.
It's weird.
Normal.
It is weird. But it's making me do that to a lot more of my family and friends now, and probably making me a bit more connected in some ways, because I'm making me think about speaking to them and using that technology that's available.
Yeah. I mean, my reflection on this so far is a couple of things. From a social perspective, it is very interesting in that my work day is more full of meetings than it was when I was in the office. So I'm meeting more people. And I'm feeling more socially disconnected. Now, I'm interesting because as I look that way, my lad's playing PlayStation with a group of people globally. And he's not.
I was going to ask you how to keep the kids entertained. You're going to get on PlayStation.
Socially disconnected at all, and they're using technology. So there's a little bit of a generational thing maybe here as to what our norms are and what the norms are for the next generation. And, I think different people will see this in different ways in terms of what it means post-corona. Post-corona sounds like the first line of a song, actually. Then post-corona, I think...
Do you want to sing the rest of that song? Or?
I'll have to work on that. I've got my guitar here.
Work on those lyrics. We've got time on our hands. You can work on those lyrics.
Yeah, I'll work on that song post-corona. I think the big thing here is that we have been talking about all these technologies, which why did I need to travel, or can I still need to go face to face? I think that will all be challenged because the technology is clearly there. Microsoft Teams went from 20 million users to 44 million users in 3 days. Technology is there, it works. Yeah. The second thing is this idea of augmented and virtual reality. How does that come in? Now there's a real use case. So people are sitting around dinner tables wanting that to be a conference table. And I think if you've got virtual reality and augmented reality, we've got the technology, but now we've got a real use case to make use of that. So I think all of these technologies suddenly are available. Suddenly the main time, we're never going to move back from that. I think, however, we have not addressed the mental and social exclusion that we need to address, right? I don't think we've done the thinking around that will need to be done.
Because you need that human touch, you need to be in the same space as someone, you think, to...
That's what we're used to. That's what my generation is used to that. My last generation don't care. They're happy playing PlayStation for 12 hours at a time.
Yeah, but then anxiety is a massive number on young people though, isn't it? So is that the case? Maybe we have to have it, even whether our generations are different. Maybe we actually have to have it because I don't know what the difference is when you're in an augmented reality or whatever. I do think though, the cultural shift, I wonder if we're going to become more family focused, we'll be more home working, more in like returning back to the days when your world was your family. I wonder if that's what the future holds.
I mean, I think that's That is a real thing, because there's a few things that happened. Like this weekend, somebody dropped off a letter saying, "This is our neighborhood group, join us."
Yeah.
Right? And now I've been here 16 years. It's the first time. And actually, the WhatsApp group is quite interesting.
Yeah.
And you start to get your neighbor, so it's not just the family, but I think actually society will be impacted for the better as people reorient themselves, right?
Yeah, I certainly think I will want to work from home more regularly after this experience, because you can loop up the teams. In consulting, you're used to running teams in different locations.
Yeah.
And for most businesses, certainly my type of business, you're used to all being in the same office, trying to motivate each other physically. Any top tips for you for how to create that culture where you're still pushing on?
Actually, for my experience, I think the people who didn't work from home and we sent them home last week, the one thing they wanted to hear, we had a town hall and we got some feedback from that. The one thing they wanted to hear was that we trusted them. We trusted them to work. And the reality, of course, is when you're working from home, you're working harder than not when you're in the office, right? So you're working longer hours. So the tip is actually, how do you break that up to be able to be efficient and effective? So that's point number one, is making sure you're communicating trust and transparency. Secondly, is actually asking people to take breaks rather than feel they have to work into their social hours as well. I think that's really important. Thirdly, is this idea of the water cooler chat still needs to be done, and we've had a couple of different examples of people doing it in different ways. We've had people setting aside time which is a coffee break. So people come on video conference, but having a coffee. In fact, there's a pub break as well. So at the end of the day, people are setting up, let's get together with a beer. Exactly. Get on Teams with a beer or whatever it might be. So I think that people have been quite creative around that, which is I think is necessary. Protocol around meetings is interesting. I think that's the new technique. I think you need to teach people, because when you've got 7 people on a call, everybody's trying to talk, you still do. The importance of the chair becomes really important, because people are not watching body language. So somebody has to manage that. I think, all of these things, I think in the consulting world, you're quite right. We've sort of gotten used to, because that's how we're working across our client base. But suddenly it's gone industrial scale. And you've got people who are used to working in that environment on the same meeting as people who are not used to working in that environment, and it gets quite interesting, actually.
Yeah, it does. I think even from my perspective, when I've been doing my group meetings, there's a lot of talking over each other, and they become a bit waffly. So it's being able to make sure that doesn't happen, I suppose, going forward.
Yeah, exactly right. And because you don't have the body language when you're trying to say to somebody, you don't want to offend anybody in a meeting, it becomes more interesting, actually. The video becomes quite interesting, so people can watch, not just say, stop talking, but smile while you're saying it. And those little things I think become really important.
Yeah, well, watching myself on video just makes me want to reach out to the plastic surgeon much quicker, to be honest. I'm becoming incredibly narcissistic seeing myself every 5 minutes. Don't look at me, look at someone else.
No, I think that's a real thing. I think people, I've spotted also people's reluctance or otherwise of putting the video on. Now, there's a network impact, but there's actually something really much bigger about not only what do I look like, but what can people see about my personal space here. Right? I mean, my home, how I live.
So exactly. Exactly that.
It's quite interesting, actually. The feedback we got from our town hall last week, the most positive feedback was when people shared a little bit about themselves. So Paul was presenting, and he said, by the way, I might get disturbed because I've got a new puppy sat on my foot. Or somebody said, my kids are just about to come home from school in 15 minutes and I've not been able to warn the missus that I'm on a conference call. So be aware. That sort of thing, I think, makes people relax. And, I think it's been quite good, actually, for deepening relationships in many ways because of that.
We've got to find another way to create that human element, haven't we? That kind of humility, and I think being honest about the way. But one of my staff had a new business call the other day, and she thought she'd had her video camera off, and there was 2 of my guys and then the 2 clients the other end, and they were giving her a new opportunity, and she was fist pumping. And then suddenly she realised she was on camera. Worst moment ever. That's the one thing to remember, is that you have to check whether your eyes are on or off at all times.
That is very real. That is very real. Yeah. And actually, it may be good to have a physical blocker. You know, you can get those physical things on your camera, because physically you can turn it on and off. Because those mistakes could be quite costly.
Well, depend. I think at the moment everyone's seeing it in good humour, but yeah, it's certainly the future. On the future, what do you think is going to be in the market for skills when we get to this other side? Because obviously there's a lot of scared people out there, isn't there? And I think this would accelerate, personally, and I'm not as smart as half my clients, but I personally think this would accelerate the digital transformation and the digital revolution. So where do you think people should be looking to retrain?
But I think everybody, it's been quite interesting. I've been trying to form, for example, my lad's here from the USA. I've been trying to get him on insurance temporarily. I can't get through to my insurer. I can't get through to my insurer because their website doesn't deal with this. The people can't work from home, so there's no call center. So this transformation of everybody going digital day one is going to be massive. And so all the technology skills needed to allow organize, and there was already a dearth of it, right? So all the technology skills allowing organizations to create that operating model to work in a disparate way is going to be critical. I think if anything, the demand will go up, much more than and faster than we needed, because it now becomes a question of business continuity. It's not just can we make more money? Can we create a better experience? It's now, will our business continue or stop, like it has done right now for a lot of businesses? And true. If people's predictions are true, that this is the first of many, this sort of thing, where people are going to have to lock down for periods of time, this becomes a big spend area.
It does.
So that is big. Once that happens and operating models get dispersed, cybersecurity gets even more compromised. So that's another huge area we're thinking is going to see a lot of action in terms of people having to fill all of these gaps that will appear as you create different operating models. And then as you start to do that, I think the user experience becomes really important, because, I mean, if we get into a world where actually people are so used to not seeing people, they don't want to see any salespeople. Until they want to see salespeople. Right? And by the way, that might even be remote. So what does that mean for business-to-business clients who are used to sending people in with PowerPoint decks and demonstrations to see clients, business consumers, where the business consumers are saying, look, I can find everything I want online, and when I'm ready, I'll get you online, and you take me through whatever you need to take me through. So the sales experience, I think, becomes dramatically different. From what we see in terms of technology consulting, this will only accelerate, and the demand for skills are going to be at an all-time high, I'm predicting, as soon as we get out of this place.
That's what I like to hear.
I think it's busy.
Yeah, I think it will as well. I think it's just ensuring that, I think we already had a skill shortage in those sorts of areas, and now we're just going to have to accelerate that retraining. And I think making those things accessible for as many people as possible so they can retrain, reskill, because I imagine that this will speed everything up, and we need to be able to access that kind of talent. So it'll be interesting times to see what Q3, Q4 was like anyway, for sure.